Listen up or run for cover. Dropping knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. The real Bradley Bombs is dropping.
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I got a badass out of Tampa, Florida, Chris Cavallini. What's cracking?
What's up, dude?
Folks, if you guys don't know Chris, man, you better look him up on Instagram. It's at Chris Cavallini, but he also has nutrition solutions. Dude's got a crazy story, so I want to bring him back. He's actually a two-time guest. I want to talk a little bit about his upbringing, some challenges, and the shit that's going on, because he built an 8-figure business and growing, all nutrition, looks like a brick shit house, right? Freaking, like, dude, if I had your body, I'd probably be a trillionaire.
I get it. I agree. You probably would be.
I mean,
you look better since the last time I seen you, man.
Well, that's because I'm on your program.
Oh, it's because
you're shipping me food, bro. It's easy. It's easy to look good when Nutrition Solutions is serving up your shit.
Oh, thank you.
And folks, if you guys want a convenient way to get, nutrition, go to nutritionsolutions.com and he'll ship you out the food. It's fresh. Dude, there's donuts, there's pancakes, there's shit you don't think you should be eating, but you can because they're all protein. But what's crazy is they actually taste good.
Yeah, that's a pretty important component.
And dude, what's really funny? Well, I mean, dude, I'll eat tuna out of a can if that's what I need to do.
Sure.
I'm just happy that I don't have to because your stuff is good. There's only one thing I really don't understand with your food, the ground turkey.
Yeah.
How do you grind it? Because it's almost like turkey powder. It's like it's so fine.
Yep.
I'm expecting to get some chunks, but there are none. It's almost like turkey powder.
Right. So when we get the product in, it actually is a little more, I guess, chunky, shall we call it? But we ground it up even more because it helps our customers that are consuming it. It increases absorption. The more it's broken down, the higher quality absorption your body. So your body will take in more of that protein as opposed to excreting it. So that's all by design.
I was wondering because, man, it sure is fine ground.
Yeah.
And what's funny is my 4-year-old, and by the way, if you guys have 4-year-olds out there in the world, then you understand how finicky 4-year-olds are. So anyway, I gave her some of your pancakes, and I said, "Are they good?" And she said, "Kinda," which is funny because obviously they're delicious compared to healthy food.
I think that is a huge compliment coming from a 4-year-old.
It is. That's where I'm going with this. Like, to me, I expect protein pancakes, healthy pancakes, to have a little bit of, healthy flavor.
Sure.
When I say healthy, meaning, not like, oh
Denny's.
my
Not
God.
Denny's.
Yeah, it's not Denny's. It's not sugar-coated maple syrup. It's a healthy version. So, but they're delicious knowing that they're healthy version. If I didn't know they were healthy version, I would have said exactly what she said, which is funny because if a 4-year-old says kinda,
you're winning.
And that's not what she said. It made me laugh. I said, "Do you like them?" And she said, "Yes." I said, "Are they good?" She said, "Yeah, but kind of not good." And I just started laughing because what that meant is I can taste that they're not pure sugar.
Yeah.
But a 4-year-old, she eats them and she loves them, and it makes me happy knowing that she's eating good shit. The problem is their protein. Is she going to be muscly?
She'll be fine.
Because I don't want her muscly.
She'll be fine, man. Well, you do want her muscle. You don't want her to look like a muscle head.
I don't want her muscly.
Yeah, no.
I want her lean.
If she's just eating, yeah, exactly. I mean, look, so just to touch on the aspect of the food tasting good, that is the thing that I think when people say the word diet and just dieting, it's like, oh, I got to diet. There's like a negative stigma that's attached to it because people have that picture, that image, or just get that feeling that they got to eat like bland, boring, like gross food that like they're going to have to force down their palate. And like when 95% of people that actually start a quote unquote diet end up failing, and it's because they're not setting it up for sustainability and the things that need to be present. This is not about nutrition solutions. This is you want to get fit and you want to like live a better life, you want to look better naked, you want to feel better, you want to think at a higher level, like you have to be putting the right things in your body. And the only way we can sustainably do that is if we're actually enjoying the foods that we're eating. Because if you are not, ultimately your mind just gives out and you will ultimately deviate back to the nearest drive-through. So I think that people just need to just make it a little more of a priority to kind of look into this. People don't know about it because they haven't looked into it. And you can really eat anything. And, you know, you mentioned like the donuts, the pancakes. I mean, we do pizza, burgers. I mean, obviously it's cleaned up. It's like leaner cuts of protein and it's portioned appropriately. But provided you're eating portions that are consistent with where you're trying to go and eating like frequently throughout the day, like your meals spread out throughout the day, like you can legitimately eat anything and actually lose body fat.
Yeah, well, it definitely, I have been losing body fat. I'm not fully engaging on the routine
the
you
protocol.
gave me.
Yeah.
Only because, dude, I hate high intensity training.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Well, I don't really know that anybody enjoys it.
You seem to.
I enjoy the benefits, right? I enjoy like the positive consequences.
Yeah, well, dude, watching your Instagram stories, dude, like you seem to love them.
I mean, you know, I again, like I've trained myself to get that, but like I don't know that anybody would actually enjoy working out in such a way where it feels like you're gonna have a heart attack, or like you feel like, you know, you're just, I mean, you're pushing yourself as far as you can go. But like, I objectively know the more I do that proactively, like the better I will be able to execute in other areas of life, the better prepared I'll be, like when, you know, life's adversity sucker punches me out of nowhere.
Well, I always say crawl, rock, run, folks. If I were you, I would get the food first.
Yeah, well,
because
I mean, that's the most
it's
important.
because I have lost body fat.
Yeah,
believe it or not,
your biceps are bigger,
dude. Believe it or not, the other day, and that's without the hit. But the other day, I go shopping and I'm in the store, and dude, I bought a pair of 34s.
my man.
And I'm like, I don't wear 34s, but the 36s are too big. What's wrong here?
Yeah.
So I'm looking around like, what's wrong with this store? What brand are these? It's the same brand. They're AGs, the Tellus. I got 10 pairs of them. Well, I usually buy 36
Yeah.
waist. Well, I put on the 36. They're a little baggy. I walk out. I'm like, ma'am, is this like a weird fabric or something? She said, oh, I don't know. That's the da-da-da-da. I said, well, let me grab that pair, 36. So I pull on them. They're a little baggy.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, well, maybe you should try 34s. I'm like, I don't wear 34s. I wear 36.
Yeah.
And she said, well, try the 34s. I put them on. Frickin', they felt like the 36s. I'm like, God damn, dude.
That's what's up.
I'm losing weight without doing the hit.
Yeah.
Is where I'm getting
Yeah.
at. So, folks, if you're listening and you're like me, where, dude, look, you like life pretty well and you don't need to go into some sort of, you know, crazy, you know, 8-pack lifestyle.
You want to live better.
Just eat better, and I'll bet you anything, you look better, you feel better, and you do. I haven't had heartburn forever. You know, I think my skin looks better.
Yeah, all
I
that.
think, like you said, my arms look better. And,
sure.
and again, I'm doing the workouts that you had me do. It's just the hit, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm
But
50.
the other side of that is, you know, you're a busy guy. You have a lot of things going on. I think the thought process with that was get more done in less time. But if you have the time,
Yeah, you were trying to shred me up immediately.
yeah, well, and not just that, just meaning like, you know, with the hit, you only got to do like 10 minutes, right? You do a 10 to 15 minute hit workout. I mean, you can cover more ground than, you know, if you're doing an hour at a leisurely stroll, like on a treadmill. So it's also about being efficient. You have a lot of things going on. Don't think that you can't get something done in 15, 20 minutes, but that 15, 20 minutes is 15, 20 minutes of just getting after it.
But if I'm
Are you trying to convince me, or are you trying to convince yourself?
no, I'm just trying.
There's levels to it, right?
Look,
like you still have that in your toolbox. So when you implement that, you go to the next level.
Yeah, but see, everybody out there is not going to be as interested if they know that there's going to be some serious pain. So the first thing I'm trying to say is, folks, just eat right.
Sure.
And if it's good food and it's proportioned, whatever you want to call it, and all you do is knock them out every 2 or 3 hours or whatever as prescribed.
Yep.
And they're already prepared. Dude, the only time you can't do it is if you can't afford to do it. And I'm telling you, you can't afford not to.
I agree with that. And the other side of that is this, like getting in good shape, physically, mentally, like it starts with the foods that you're putting in your body. Like
when people say, by the way, 80% is the diet.
It is.
Right. So again, everybody thinks, oh, I'm going to start the gym. I'm going to start beating myself up. And then they get sore and then they stop going. Same reason they stop eating the shitty food because they think it has to taste like ass. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to reverse it.
Yeah.
Like people in the bomb squad. Look, start with the food. Don't go out and start with the high intensity training to where now you're just bummed out because that's the reason I don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Sure. I get it.
But guess what? Just the food and a good, solid, consistent workout that I do like is working miracles. And that's where I'm telling people, just start with the food, a little bit of activity, and you can get to the high intensity, shredded up, looking like you eventually, if you want to. Some people don't want to.
Right. You don't, to get in good shape, to optimize your health, to feel like you don't even have to work out technically. I mean, the workouts help. They help it get to the next level, but it really the decisions we make every day as it pertains to the food that we put in our mouth, essentially, I have started to kind of put it in perspective like this. Like the people we surround ourselves with, right? They ultimately determine our quality of life, right? I honestly think that the foods that we put in our mouth have the same effects. I mean, I know. I mean, at the end of the day, like most people have just gotten so accustomed to doing whatever they're doing and their bodies are kind of just dealing with it, right? They're used to eating processed bullshit. They're used to going to the drive-thru or the nearest convenience, and they've kind of developed a baseline level of like how they believe that they are supposed to feel, not realizing they're leaving, 60 to 70% on the table because they're not fueling their body properly to optimize performance, to optimize health, and to optimize just the way that they wake up every single day and feel. I mean, if you're eating properly, like literally, you will wake up every morning, provided you got an adequate amount of sleep, and you won't be exhausted. Most people wake up every day, they're like, fuck, they're tired as hell. It takes them an hour to get up. And that is all basically a direct byproduct of not putting proper fuel in our body.
Focus, clarity will bleed into performance, work performance, shit like that.
Absolutely. And sex drive. Sex drive is another thing that's heavily impacted and affected via our daily nutrition.
So I need to get my wife on the shit too then. My sex drive's not the problem.
I wasn't implying that it was, but since you brought it up.
After you have a couple kids, sometimes, the following kids around all day.
Yeah.
You get home, you're wondering why your wife doesn't want to do it. Dude, she's exhausted.
I get it.
I'm serious. Like, dude, there's a lot of people out there going, what's the problem? You know? Well, dude, you're exhausted running around with kids all day. If your wife is not on the right nutritional program, she could be lacking vitamins, nutrition, and when you get home, it ain't happening. So guess what? Order two meal solutions.
There it is.
Nutrition solutions, folks. I'm done preaching.
Yeah, thank you.
If I were you, I'd get on it because guess what? It's easy, right? Those meals are easy. Bang. I go bang, bang, bang. Yeah. I tell Maria, my assistant, hey, bring me one of these every 3 hours. And I don't even have to think. Every 3 hours, she walks in, hands me. It's hot. I open it up. I eat it. I'm like, God damn. I didn't think I liked vegetables. These are good. I didn't think I liked this. This is good. Like, this is good, solid food. And it allows me to focus on work and productivity. And I don't even have to think.
Yeah.
You know how much effort you put into thinking about what to eat?
I do, yes. That's another thing that I became made aware of, and it's a lot of energy. And again, the more things that we can delegate, the more things that we can effortlessly navigate our way through, the more energy that we're going to have to deploy to the things that really matter.
And your menu changes all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's important, man. We can't be feeding our clients the same shit all the time. They'll get burnt out. It changes every week. Every single week the menu is different.
Yeah, and it's good. There's only one thing I didn't like that was in there, and it wasn't the whole thing. It was they put in Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. Well, I remember your whole thing was like, oh, no veggies. I'm like, dude, stop. You have to eat veggies.
Yeah, but I hate Brussels sprouts.
You acquired a taste for the other ones to a certain degree?
Yeah.
Good.
Broccoli, asparagus. Mm-hmm. I don't do cauliflower. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't care how you prepare it. Now, I do cauliflower crust.
Sure.
But broccoli and asparagus I've grown accustomed to.
Good.
I don't like spinach. Mm-hmm. I'm not Popeye.
I mean, with those biceps, man, you actually led me to think you were.
I know.
I mean, can we get a close up of that, please?
Yeah. He's obviously patronizing me.
No,
folks.
I'm
go
actually
to
not.
his Instagram page and you'll see a bicep. Mine looks like, an arm.
Well, it's just
There's a
funny, like
difference.
just seeing you in the office here. He's always walking around in his, just flashy, sport jacket and his collared shirt. But, you start to tighten up a little bit. You start to lean up, and all of a sudden you start shedding layers.
T-shirts, V-necks, 34 jeans.
That's a real thing, man. And that's fucking awesome. That's what it is about. Like, you get more confident. You wake up in the morning, you like what the fuck you see when you look in the mirror. You know how many people wake up every day and literally the first thing they see is something that makes them physically disgusted, and now they have to carry that with them throughout the entire day, and that's not a good way to live your life.
I know, but even like in my worst shape, when I looked in the mirror, I always thought, "Damn, that looks pretty good."
And you weren't wrong.
It's the opposite of bulimia or that body dysmorphia, where they look and they have they don't look bad, but they think they do.
They look amazing, yeah.
I got the opposite.
Huh.
I think I look pretty good when I actually don't.
So I think you look great, Brad. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, I appreciate that. So let's talk about adversity. You're no stranger to adversity. You got in a little trouble. You went into the Navy, didn't you? Mm-hmm. So you've had all gamuts. Now, people out there starting a business, people out there wanting to improve their life, other than physically, mentally, spiritually, all this. You've had some, let's say, experience in the gamut of success.
Sure.
And you have a successful business, Nutrition Solutions, doing millions.
Yeah, doing pretty good.
Shipping all over the country and growing rapidly. And you basically you weren't born with any money. You weren't born with anything special. Matter of fact, it's
2 years ago, I didn't have any money either.
How many?
In May of 2016, so that's a little more than that. I literally was down to $0. This was after I got in trouble. So I was a drug dealer the majority of my 20s. Walked away from that life, started the business, ended up getting arrested for crimes that I committed 3 years prior. So my past caught up with me, and I successfully transitioned out of that life. Basically went through an extensive legal process, was given a second chance, and during that time, the time that I was preparing my whole life to go to prison, I became complacent with my business. I mean, I can't even really call it complacency, because it would have been impossible to maintain the standard of what I had to do when I was literally having to prepare my entire life to possibly be gone for however many number of years. But when I was given a second chance and decided to go all in and fully commit to my business, I mean, I had to really go all in. My bail was $500,000. I had to pay 10% of that, which was everything at the time. So then when I had to kind of rebuild and go all in, I mean, I legitimately was down to $0, Brad, and racked up about $100,000 in credit card debt. So that wasn't that long ago, and went all in, and it worked out and continues to. So, but that's adversity. But there's no other option, man. You put your back against the wall, and you do what you're supposed to do, and things tend to work out.
Yeah, and I noticed that you're studying a lot.
Yeah,
like you Tim Grover, you kind of coach with, and you seek out coaches and mentors, even though you're doing well. What most people don't understand, that most successful people are looking and watching and reading and growing. How about you?
Yeah, so that's one thing that I've kind of noticed over the last couple of years. Some of the guys that I look up to and whatever, they don't really talk about that very much. They're not really saying, hey, this is what I'm reading, I'm doing. It's almost like they want to create this facade of being omnipotent and whatever. And it's I'm the opposite. I want everybody to know exactly what I'm reading, because I want them to read it too. I want people to know who I'm learning from, because if it's helping me, and there's a high probability that it'll help other people. The fact is, what enabled me to basically have the courage and confidence to walk away from my previous life of, selling drugs, which was very comfortable for me, if you want to call it that, was through the self-education and reading books. And it basically helped me create a new life for myself. And it's that is the association that I have with the personal development. And I also objectively understand that it is an evergreen process. It's not like something where, you get to there's a finish line or a ceiling. I mean, and that's, if you're reading higher end books and you're evolving, or if you're reading the same book, but you're at a different place in your life and your awareness is increased. Like happiness is very important to me. I mean, it's very important to everybody listening. That's ultimately, if you ask people why they do what they do, like it always comes down to their wanting to discover and find happiness. I want to be happy just like everybody else. And I understand that the way that we do that, the only way that we do that is by making progress. We can very easily make progress by consistently seeking out just learning opportunities, by consistently like pushing ourselves, like, in the gym, really hard work. It's like, I want to be happy. So I wake up every single day and I look for ways that I can make progress. And when you view it like that, you realize like, shit, there's really a lot of things that all of us can do every day that will actually help us make progress, which will ultimately create those feelings of happiness that we're all desperately searching for.
So what if you got fat?
I wouldn't.
But what if you got fat? You think your success would be over?
No.
See, so it's not necessarily just physical.
No, of course. So no, absolutely not.
That just helps.
It
makes you feel better, makes you think better,
and it's
makes
easy,
you more confident,
and it's easy. Like, so if I'm talking to somebody who's where I was at, right, like at that fork in the road, and doesn't know which way to go. Like, they know the path they're on, and there's this other path in it, but it's dark, it's gloomy, it's uncertain. But they know that that's the right thing to do, but they're just scared. They don't know like where to start, where to begin. Like, I mean, all of us can go work out. All of us can start making better choices with the foods that we eat. That's a very easy thing that we can all do to start getting momentum. Because when you start doing those things, you start feeling better about yourself.
Yep.
When you eat better,
you don't have to wait for the bomb.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Sorry. I want to be respectful of the bomb. When you eat better, like, you feel pride in that. You're like, you know what? Like, that's good. Like, you know what? I've went to the gym 5 days in a row. And for some people, that is a huge deal.
It's a win.
It's a fucking massive win. And like, dude, winning is important. And the more wins that we can rack up, like, it carries momentum. Now,
it's huge.
So is the opposite. Like, if you are cultivating a pattern and habit of losing, well, that's probably what you're going to continue to get. So like, I think it's an easy thing. Fitness is an easy thing that anybody can immediately do to start taking control.
And it's funny that you say that, because the other day I see a lot of these gurus. Now, people think I'm a guru. Dude, I am no guru. You don't see me claiming that I'm a guru. I built Closer School because I do know how to teach people how to sell and close and persuade. But I did that to show people here how easy it is to put a course online. So I just did it to show people, my client base, how easy it is to monetize something that you can teach, because I want to make sure people have all their skills and whatnot. So in that case, I'm not trying to be a guru, but I see a lot of these gurus out here. Now, when I say a guru, I mean, hey, let me show you how to do something. Mm-hmm. I think they're totally legit. Not all of them, but I think they're totally legit. And I think people should find themselves a guru or a mentor or a coach or whatever you want to call it. But a lot of them are giving out advice that's just cliche or general.
Yeah.
Like, you got to do what others won't do if you want to be rich. Well, that's not true. Okay. Yeah. Go, pick the corn out of your shit at 2 a.m. and fling it at a wall. No one's doing that. Right. And it's not going to get you rich. Right. So that's not necessarily what you need to do to get rich. How do you get rich? How do you get successful? How do you make a bunch of money? It's not as easy as getting in shape. Get your fat ass up, eat right, run, lift these weights properly, and you will get in shape.
The end.
But I wish I could make it that easy for money, because, just do, be willing to do things other won't do. That don't mean shit. Okay, that's cliche. Now, again, I get it, because I do agree with that.
Sure.
You have to do what it takes. You have to be willing to put up with some shit. But, the product that you have, the idea that you have, the marketing that you have, there's all of this formula.
So much.
There is no one way to get rich,
No.
and there isn't a guaranteed way either. So it's like fitness, when you're saying it's easy, it's hard, but it's easy. Because
in comparison,
you go do this and you will get in shape.
100%.
And it's beautiful.
And it's not changing. Like in business, like it's changing. The world is changing so fast. So what's working now is not going to work in 3-5 years, whatever. But with fitness, it'll always be the fucking same. You eat good and you work out.
Dude, I had a kid downstairs that tried to start the same business like yours. He's out of business.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
So
that pop up.
People want packaged, pre-made meals. It's convenient, and just go start a pre-made meal company. No, dude, I know someone who did, and he's out of business. You're not. So all of the things you did, well, did he? I don't know, dude. Maybe his food was shit. Maybe he didn't hire the right chef. Maybe his food was better than yours, but he didn't know how to market.
Yeah.
Who knows what his problems were? But there's no one way. This is how you get rich. If anyone does this, they'll get rich. It's hard. It's difficult. It's almost a mystery. That's why I don't consider myself a guru, because, dude, I don't know. I can tell you what's worked for me. I can tell you what I've experienced. I can tell you what a lot of successful people I know do, like get up early. I've never met a successful person that doesn't get up early. I've never met one. I'm not saying they don't exist.
Yeah.
I've never met one. Do you get up early?
Of course.
Everybody I know that's successful gets up early.
Yeah.
And it's not because they have to.
No.
It's just because they do.
Yeah.
Like, dude, get up in the morning.
Just fucking get up. And I think people, like, they all try to wake up early and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired and I need 8 hours of sleep, because that has been put in their minds. Like,
do you need 8 hours?
No.
Dude, I get
nobody
4 to
needs
6.
Nobody needs 8 hours. Now, like, do I sleep 8 hours? Of course, sometimes I sleep 8 hours.
I've never slept 8 hours in 100 years.
I slept 4 hours last night. I woke up this morning and I went and trained. I was in the gym by 6:45. Like,
I went to bed last night at about 11:30, and I woke up at 4:30. And by the way, I don't have an alarm. I could have woke up at 10:30.
Yeah.
But I just know that never happens.
Sure.
If I'm sleeping in and I'm really tired, I would have woke up at 6:30 at the latest 7. But dude, that's 6-7 hours if I'm beat, and
Right.
I let my body tell me.
Yeah.
But I don't know anybody. Try to think in your head. Do you know anyone that's successful that does not wake up early?
I do not. I think the part to add to this is, if people just try to wake up early just to wake up early, you have to have a purpose attached to it, right? Like you and I, we have a lot of different things going on. Like, people need to find their purpose. They need to find, like, that thing that they want to get up early and attack. And for a lot of people, 80% of Americans admittedly report to hating their job and having zero passion towards it. That's a problem. The thing about passion is it can actually be developed, and it is typically developed through mindset and perspective. So if you're just going to get up early thinking, oh, Brad Lee said to get up early, so I'm going to just get up early, and all right, now what the hell do? I don't have to be at work. It's like, you got to do something. Go work out. Spend an hour reading, right? Like, meditate.
That's what'll happen if you get up early. Even if I don't tell you that, you're going to be like, what can I do? 9 times out of 10, you're going to stumble into shit that's better.
Yeah. Yeah. And then by doing that in the morning, you've just primed yourself into a peak mental and physical state that you will now carry that momentum and energy with you throughout the day, and you'll be able to attack the day at a much higher level. And that is when shit starts to happen.
Yeah. And then ultimately, I've never met a successful individual, like full on successful, that doesn't believe in learning.
Dude. And again, like, this is very similar actually to fitness. Like, when you read the books and you put in the time, you will get better. So I say that the purpose of personal development, if people would ask me, well, what's the point? Why do you do it? My standard response is because it teaches me to think differently. And that is why I seek out learning. That is why I read. That is why I watch people who are doing things better than me, people that I want to model in some ways. I want to learn to think better. I want to learn to think differently. I want to become a more evolved human. And when people understand that is what it is, and they have awareness to that going in, which I didn't. I just started doing because I needed to do something. But now, I realized, it helps me think differently. It helps me think better. It helps me make better decisions. It helps me just navigate my life a lot better. So, another easy thing, which can be free most of the time. Obviously, there's, you pay a few bucks for a book, or pay, I know you have your coaching calls that you do weekly. People got to pay some insanely
Dude,
low amount.
I charge $7.
But that's important that you do that, because if you gave it away for free, you probably have 50% less execution from the people that are actually tuning in. If people are vested psychologically, it does something. It actually will compel them. There's research that validates this, to take action. If you're giving it away for free, they could be there, they could take in, but for some weird fucking reason, our brains are not linked to taking that action as aggressively and as the way that we need to take it, if we're not vested in it in some way. So that's great that you do that, because you're doing them a service by charging them.
Well,
because you don't need to, right? Like, let's be honest. That
No.
that money, that's beer money for you. But that's great that you're doing that, because now you're going to have people that are actually following through on the things that you're teaching them at a much higher probability.
yeah. Well, I did it again to show, my client base. Look, $7. Well, they're like, well, what's that? Well, number one, 680 people pay it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's $5,000 a month, roughly. Number one. Number two, I'm just showing you that it could be $7. It could be $70. I know people with masterminds or weekly calls that are charging $300 and they've got 1,000 people.
Sure.
And now it's $300,000 a month to do 2 webinars. Basically.
And you're enjoying it.
Well, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I say it's an hour. We're usually on there 2 hours.
That's what they were telling me before. Like, Brad, I was so generous with his time, and I'm like, I get it.
Well, the main thing is A, it's fun, and B, people are asking questions, we're laughing, we're having a good time, and I'm trying to help people figure out wherever they're at in life. Again, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it to show people how easy it is to do, because someone, these educators and these experts at things, they want to make money online from a laptop. Dude, it's not difficult. Let me show you how. Boom, Closer School. I wrote it in a couple of days. I'm like, boom, now you throw up a mastermind. I charge $7, charge $49, charge whatever you think you're worth.
Right.
But when it comes to volume, if I have 100 people on a call, I'm making 100 people better. And if it's $50 each, dude, times 100, you just spent an hour on a damn Zoom. What better, like, that's pretty damn good money,
Yeah,
people.
I agree.
And I'm showing them that. But let's go back to your
Adversity.
Your adversity. Yeah. So at 2016, you ain't got no money. You just got cracked. You probably have some legal bills. You got to bail yourself out or wait in jail until your trial. So what happened?
So basically, I just became fully committed to my business. I mean,
I know, but you must have been found not guilty.
Well, no, I pleaded guilty. So basically,
You must not have got any time then.
no. So basically what happened is, the state offered me 24 months prison. That was the offer. That was the deal. And, yeah. So I, was just looking at the
That's like
circumstances.
offering gonorrhea.
I was looking at the circumstances of my life at the time, and I was like thinking, man, like 2 years, not that bad. I could actually,
That's what I'm saying. Like, gonorrhea, not that bad.
I could actually like go in and come out and just like, this be part of my story and fucking add to it, whatever. I was just trying to get myself there, bro, mentally. And then I realized, look, it's not just about me. I had a team at the time that was a handful of people. My company looked a hell of a lot different in 2015 when I got arrested. And so I knew a lot about their circumstances. I knew about their families. I knew about what they had going on. I knew that they relied on me and the company as their means of survival. So like, I decided I had to fight, and fight I did. I mean, going against my attorney's advice. I mean, I basically owned up to everything. They wanted, the whole thing is like, we could this, the audio is questionable on this. I'm like, look, I'm not going to go in and I'm not going to insult a judge, insult a prosecutor and try to convince them that the only 2 times that I've ever sold drugs happen to be the 2 times I got set up. Like, I got to own this. I was like, I've lived a lie for so long. I lived a lie when I was selling drugs. I lived a lie just for so long. It was so stressful. It taken its toll on me. I just couldn't do it. So I just took responsibility and I decided to plead guilty, but go to the judge for sentencing.
Now, do you believe that that's key in your today's success?
Yes, but at the time I wasn't aware of it. I didn't.
No. Because I think it was Grover. Somebody said the second you take responsibility is the second your like whole future will change.
Dude, 1,000%. And the thing is, like, taking responsibility was what allowed me to like make my life better at, that point to get to where I was at when I got arrested. So it's like that had been working for me. So I had to I couldn't deviate from what I knew was in my own best interest, even if it was against my attorney's advice, even if it did basically create a situation where they didn't have to prove my guilt because I was admitting to it. I just thought it was the right thing to do in the situation. I was prepared to just face the consequences of my actions. And long story short, when you go to the judge for sentencing, basically you're rolling the dice. They give you an offer, a deal, so to speak, offer to save time, save money, save resources, and all that. Like when you go to the judge for sentencing and, you're guilty, most times they'll actually give you more than what the deal was because you've now cost them money, time, resources, etc. But I went there and, I had about 100 people that showed up that day to speak on my behalf. I'd done a lot of good, man, the last 3 years in turning my life around. I was very active in the community. I had wounded warriors that I mentored, people who actually showed up that day to speak on my behalf. And we had a very compelling mitigation packet. The judge had reviewed it, and she gave me a second chance that day. And, I realized that I needed to pay that forward to the universe. I was given a second chance. I didn't think that happened by accident. I thought that was because of some of the good things that I had done. And even though now I was stripped, look, my business was in a rough place. I had to spend everything I had between bail and the lawyer fees. That was the punishment. That was my punishment for the crimes I committed and the ethics and the karma. That was karma. So basically I had money, some money coming in through the business, but again, we were losing money, and I basically had to get us back to par. I had to go all in, max out credit cards, and basically just change everything, change my mentality, change the structure. That was when we started actually developing a company culture that was instilled around really helping people, not just saying we're helping people, but actually getting the team to understand the importance of the work that they do and how it is impacting our customers and the people that give us the opportunity to serve them. And it's like when I did that, when I changed the kind of mindset, I started to feel a little better. I started to feel a little more prideful in what I was doing. And all of a sudden, the money that wasn't really coming in, or the money that was coming in was going out just as quick. It just didn't sting as bad. I started to have fun, and I hadn't ever really had fun up until that point. And then when you start to have fun and you start to just do things because it's a good thing to do and it's the right thing, you start going out of your way to just make an awesome impression on a customer by just blowing their mind with just some outside the box, above and beyond, thing that you don't have to do, but you get to do. All of a sudden, good things started happening. The money started coming in, the company started moving forward, and my circumstances started to evolve and get better. And, around that time, that's also when I started going all in on my personal development. That's when I really, I thought I was all in before, but I didn't have an awareness to what all in was. Started literally beginning of 2016, I started writing my goals. First of all, I set goals, started writing them down every day. I started reading every day, listening to an audiobook, 1 hour a day, minimum mandatory. And, moreover, I started actually executing, Brad, on the things that I was learning, which is a thing I think a lot of people struggle. I think a lot of people that are listening to this, a lot of people that are reading the books, but they're not taking the action. They're actually acting in most cases in a way that is not consistent with their own best interest based off the things that they've learned because it's a new thing. It's I actually realized that in order to get better, I needed to get better, and I needed to start to execute on these things. So I was literally at a point in my life where, look, it was either die or succeed. So I started taking action and good things started to happen. So I'm like, well, fuck, imagine that. Look at that. So I'm learning these things. And when I take action on it, good things happen. And I just started taking action on everything and just creating an environment that I could be proud of. And I actually enjoyed coming into work and doing what it is that we had the opportunity to do every day. And that's when everything fucking changed.
That's huge. So procrastination, when you say take action, most people procrastinate.
Yeah, that's why most people stay most people.
Well, I always say the trouble with most people is most people.
Yeah.
So you started writing down goals.
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
Of course, every day.
Every
Sometimes
day.
Twice a day. Every day.
You write down goals.
Yeah.
How many are there?
So I'll just tell them. So my first goal is my net worth is 250 million. Second is I have freedom with my time. Third,
Now you write that down every day?
every day. I've been on the cover of Forbes magazine. Fourth, I donated $10 million to charity this year. Fifth is I'm the most recognizable influencer in the world. So that's five.
Huh.
Yeah. For the last one I implemented, I think like 4 months ago. And I think around the same time is when I increased my philanthropy goal, which was, it's 10 million now. It used to be 1 million. It's like, I'm like kind of closing the gap on that. So it's like time to raise the bar with that. 10 million in a year.
So do you believe that the visual or the act of writing the goals down help?
I know. I mean, yes, I believe in it, but I know it does. So like a way to explain that to get people to understand. So obviously people probably have heard about manifesting and visualization and all this stuff. Like that is a very hard thing to do. Like if you're just starting out and you don't, or, you're struggling and like, you're feeling like shit, whatever, that's a super difficult thing to like, kind of like sit down and like feel good. Like it's a hard thing to do. Like you should get there if you can. But the fact is like, it takes a while to get there. By writing your goals down every day on paper, it puts them front and center. Okay. And while you're doing it, like you're essentially visualizing because you're writing it down. Hopefully you're taking in that feeling that would be associated once you're in that place. And that is how you attract that outcome. And yes, I know there's a very real, very direct connection between, successfully accomplishing your goals and seeing them through and actually putting them on paper. Setting goals isn't enough because life is so much and there's so many things, so much information. Like it's very easy to kind of have your goals kind of get knocked down on the priority list. And the fact is like our goals should not be viewed as extra. Our goals aren't something that we do some of the time. They're not something we do when everything else is done. They need to be front and center every fucking day, like mandatory. And a very good way to keep them at the forefront of your conscious mind is by taking the fucking time to write them on paper. Dude, if you can't even do that, like, are you honestly going to be able to do the shit that you need to do to essentially accomplish the goal?
Well, can't you just read them from the day before?
I suppose.
I'm wondering if writing them actually matters, because I've always been the guy that says, dude, if you have to write them down, they're not big enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know people that say, write them down every day, write them down. And I keep wondering, because again, I think I found a little success, not billions yet. But
and what you just said makes sense. I never thought of that.
And I've never written them down. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I wake up, I think about them every day. Mm-hmm. Like I do when I wake up. First thing I do is go, man, I'm thankful that I get another day. Mm-hmm. And then I'm thinking, okay, so what do I want? And then I go bing, 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 and just mentally I go bing, bing, bing. And I don't know. I've never written down my goals. Mm-hmm. So,
but you have goals.
I do have goals, and I think about them. Yeah. But I've never written them down. And by the way, I'm not where I want to be either.
Yeah.
So when you were just saying that, I'm thinking, well, shit, maybe, because I like to implement new things. I was thinking just about a minute ago to where maybe I'll write them down now. Like, is that what I'm doing wrong? Maybe I'll write the bitches down. So but my thing is like, my goal's a billionaire. Well, dude, do I need to write that down every fucking day? $1 billion? Because writing it down isn't going to make it happen. What do I got to do to get $1 billion? And that's not, wake up early, have ethics, do the right thing. This is what I mean by the gurus with the cliche shit. Like, dude, how do I get to $1 billion? You need to do X. There's no answer.
No.
Warren Buffett can't tell me how to get to $1 billion. He's going to say, invest your money.
Yep.
Well, no shit. Yeah. What stock?
Thanks, Warren.
Well, look for ones that look like this. So again, I'm sure he could help me, but I don't know if he could tell me, you do this, you'll have $1 billion, unless it's invest X amount of dollars every single year with this kind of return, and you'll get $1 billion. That's called math. That's not a formula.
Yeah. So for people that are like starting out, which I feel like I'm just starting out, but again, like I know that there's people that are truly starting out that are at like, just the bottom. I think it's hard to, like, Brad, you've done super well. You get a lot of good things going on. It's easy for you. And you've tasted all these things. You've witnessed the positive consequences of doing the work. A lot of people haven't had that experience. So I think by writing them down and just, it basically forces them to think about it every day, where if they're just like stressed out about this bill and they fucking hate their job and, their relationship sucks, they're consumed by that negative energy. They're consumed by their current reality, that it makes it very difficult for them to think about that stuff all the time. and prioritize it because they're so consumed, they're stuck in the mud. When you actually take the time to put them on paper, that's what you're doing. You're writing the goals down and reminding yourself of what it is that you want to accomplish. And what I've experienced is by doing that, it actually, I've never really like written down like an action step sequence. When I had smaller goals, I, would write it down. I didn't really know I get this, and this. You just kind of fucking figure it out when you have the goal and like you're really just, this is it. This is what I'm committed to doing. Like it is conquer or fucking die. When you have that mindset, it's funny. It has a funny way of working itself out, and you just kind of figure out what to do because you're focused on that outcome, and that magnetic law of attraction will just cause a situation that your goal and you just end up meeting at the right time.
Well, I'm going to start writing them down. I'm going to try that and see what happens.
Hey man, what got you here won't get you there. You got to change it up, baby.
I'm going to test it.
Yeah.
But someone asked me the other day, they said, Brad, if someone like watched you work all day, what would they see? And I said, dude, they said, what would they think? And I said, I think they'd wonder how the hell I'm successful. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, I come in, I have fun, I shoot the shit. Like, I don't grind my face off. I'm not working hard every day. I go home when I feel like it, right? Like, dude, I am not following all of the rules, and I'm winning. So guess what? That just says one thing. There's more than one way to win, and it boils down to what you brought up first. I'm happy.
Yep.
See, to me, it's like, dude, if I want to go home at 6 or 7 or 9, I will, and I can, and I have. The question is like, hey, where do I got to go tonight? I don't know. I haven't seen my kids for a few days. I've been getting home late. Let me just go home right now. I go, I basically figure out what makes me happy. And ultimately, I'm happy. Now, am I happy in the big picture? No.
You're not content. There's a difference between,
Yeah, but
difference.
I am happy, but I'm not content. So again, when someone says, I just want to be happy, well, shit, I already win. I'm happy. I win. But guess what? I'm not content.
Yeah, and you never will be.
And some people confuse contentment with happiness.
It's a huge fucking, there's a big
bomb.
difference. Yeah, absolutely. It's a bomb.
Just discovered a bomb. Well, I need to learn how to be content, maybe. I don't know.
I want to, real quick, you said, you're not grinding and you don't feel like you're not working hard. So that's a matter of perspective. And respectfully, I disagree with that.
And you're right. You're right. It is perspective.
Yeah.
Huge perspective is huge.
You've learned to be very efficient with your time.
And no, I haven't, though, dude. If you hung around here all day, you'd go, dude, how in the fuck?
Well, because, I mean, look, you didn't just snap your fingers and your current circumstances were reality. You have put in the time. And I get, dude, I think the same thing about myself. Like, people are like, you're so I'm like, dude, I'm a lazy piece of shit. I'm thinking about things I'm not doing, not the things that I am and things that I should be. So I get it. But just for people that are hearing this, like, I don't want them to think that, like they don't have to work hard. No, you have to fucking work very hard for a long time until you no longer have to, because you figured out a way to win and produce the outcome that you're after based off of your experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I've never really worked hard.
Again, that's just your perspective. Nobody gets to where you're at and not work hard.
I haven't.
I mean, I guess
it's been easy my whole life.
Yeah.
Everything's coming to me.
But comparatively speaking,
it's probably because I'm like funny and charming.
You are those things.
Folks, if you guys don't know that I'm being facetious, I'm being facetious. You do have to work hard. I have worked hard, and dude, you hit it on the head. It's perspective. Yeah. I don't think it's hard because I know I could work harder, and I'm hard on myself because, again, like last night, I went home like at 5:30. Dude, I got so much shit to do. I could have freaking worked the whole night. I could literally beat myself up every day because I didn't do everything I could have done. But that's where I'm trying to show people that, look, I can always do more, but I wouldn't be happy. Dude, I'm not going to be happy if I never see my kids. I'm not going to be happy if my kids grow up without me. I'm not going to be happy if I can't afford Disneyland. You got to be a billionaire to go to Disneyland. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't.
Yeah, it was stupid. But I think Walt was an asshole. Or his
I actually
people
heard
are.
that he was.
Dude, I don't care. I
Yeah.
think that guy's Lex Luthor. Like, dude, that place, look, there's no good food in the whole fucking place.
Yeah.
It's expensive as hell. You're standing in line. You don't even get to ride the rides. You just get to look at the fucking things. It's like unbelievable. Anyway, I'm not going to get into
let's not
Disneyland
even-
because I know you got to roll and so do I.
Yeah.
But give me the books you're reading right now. You reading anything good?
Yeah. Oh man, what's it? The book by Joe Dispenza. Something spiritual.
Becoming Supernatural.
Becoming Supernatural. That's the one I'm currently working on. I read.
I just got it.
Did you? Yeah, I read Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself twice. I read 6. Amazing. I read it 6 months ago. Then I read it again 2 months ago, and I just started Becoming the Supernatural. I'm about 4 chapters in. I don't listen to more than one book at a time. I don't think that's listen
hard
or
to.
read. It's hard and it's inefficient. I know people that do that. So you got to see something through to completion to absorb like what it is that's in there.
You ever read a book twice?
Brother, I've read books. There's one book I've read 13 times. I've read Extreme Ownership 13 times. That was when, again,
That's Jocko Willink.
Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. Yeah, when I was that was the beginning of 2016 was when I first read it, and then like I was such a horrible leader at that time, and in my mind, like before I thought I was pretty good, then I started realizing how bad I was, and every time I read it, every time I listened to it, I learned something different, and I would action it, and me being the way I came up and having a military background, that message really resonated with me. Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life by Brian Tracy. That's more one of more like positive, like, good thinking type things. But I've literally, like, anytime I get to a dark point and I start kind of not feeling the way that I know I should feel, I go back and I listen to that. And it is all Brian Tracy's message is very like delicate. He's very easy to listen to. But again, like changing my thinking is what changed my life. And I've read that book, 3 or 4 times. And again, every time I take something away from it, if nothing more, just to get me back to a positive mental state. Sometimes, sometimes I deviate off the path a little bit and I got to hold myself accountable.
Well, accountability's key, my brother.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, folks, if you guys aren't already aware of who Chris Cavallini is, go check him out on IG at Chris Cavallini. You'll know he's all freaking buff like a son of a bitch. But more importantly than following him on IG, because again, people always follow me. Like, dude, I wouldn't follow him. I'd go to his website, nutritionsolutions.com, and order yourself some food. It's unbelievably cheap, by the way. I was thinking, damn, you got to be rich to do this. Dude, you go to the grocery store and bring home the shit and cook it yourself. It'll taste like probably ass, and you're going to spend the same amount of money because this is good quality shit. You go to the store, buy the food, bring it home, chop it up, da-da-da-da-da. I personally don't see how you make the meals as cheap as they are, but who am I to question it? They taste good and they're convenient as hell. I know that you got to go to the Mr. Olympia, and I got to go get my hair did for a speech.
I thought it was looking pretty good today, to be honest with you.
It looks all right.
Yeah.
But, this is
It could be better.
This is a little long. I got to bring this down a smidge.
I get it.
And more importantly, just clean it up.
Sure.
Dude. I'm not young and handsome like you.
Dude, you look, they told me earlier how old you were, and I was like, bullshit.
50.
I thought they were rounding up.
I'm 5'0".
I mean, dude.
They call me the police.
Yeah, you look good.
I'm 5'0". But I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'd look better if I followed your damn program.
Oh, you're gradual improvement. We'll get 1% better every week.
Folks, go out and rate this podcast, or I'm going to stop doing it.
You heard the man.
And I'm not even fucking lying.
No, let me add to that.
I was thinking about stopping these.
Brad takes the time to do these, and you stay very consistent with these. Like, I don't think people really understand how important and valuable taking the time to leave a review is and how much it helps him. He does these for free. There's a ton of amazing knowledge that he is offering you guys that I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this have implemented and have seen positive changes. Some people, it's probably changed their entire fucking life. If you haven't left a review, take the 8 seconds that it takes to go on iTunes and leave the man a review, because it will help him continue to reach more people, impact more people, and you can honestly feel good knowing that you have had a helping hand change the fucking world.
There you go. Couldn't have said it better myself. Folks, until next time.
It's fucking annoying that people don't do that. They gotta tighten it up.